Hey guys, welcome back to Sports with Mono and Mono. I'm Jim. I'm here with my trusty partner Steve. It's August 14th, 2021. Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody. It's a burner today here. It's Saturday, August 14th.
A downright scorcher.
Loving every minute of it.
Rather this than 32 below.
I
Tell you that
couldn't
any day of the
agree.
week.
Couldn't agree more wholeheartedly. These are the days that, right, in February, that you can't even remember.
You wish for the dog days
Right.
of August, right? Yep.
I do.
Me too. But welcome back. Steve and I, we did a Friday show last week, but we're back at our regular time slot on Saturday. And we're going to start off with the monologue. And I think that's my honor this week.
That would be your honor.
So it's a topic that, we've touched on before, but it came up and I said, this is something I need to address. So the New York Giants are going to retire Michael Strahan's number 92. And when I heard that, I'm like, wait a minute, this is starting to get out of control. Retiring a number, meaning he was so good that nobody could wear this number ever again for the Big Blue. And I think it's ridiculous. I like the concept of this Ring of Honor that the Cowboys had. You talked about it last week. Giants have one too. That I don't have a problem with. But retiring a number that somebody wore meant he was, without question, the stellar performer of that team. And I just don't think that fits the criteria here. We talk about the Dallas Cowboys, number 74, Bob Lilly, and number 12, Roger Staubach. I get it. And with the Giants, Mel Hine, Frank Gifford, Y.A. Tittle. These are guys that were faces of that franchise. And this isn't...
Can I interject?
Hold on. just a second.
56 for the New York Giants.
I'm getting to that. It's exactly where I was going with this. That's the face of a franchise that was so dominant. And this isn't a knock on Michael Strahan. He was good, and I was actually a big supporter of Michael Strahan's when he came into the league, because the Giants don't usually play their, rookies back then, for the first couple of years. But he came on and had some great years, but not to have his number retired. And that's my monologue for the week. Now you may interject.
I'm sorry I had to interject there. But I agree about Michael Strahan. Nice player.
Is he Reggie White? Is
No.
he Bruce Smith?
No, he's not.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
That's my point.
Is he in the Hall of Fame? Yes, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Well, because he's also in the media.
Does he have the season sack total record, which is a complete joke?
With a little asterisk
Yeah,
next to it, of course.
which is a farce.
And we've talked about
But
it.
I'm also not knocking the fact that he had, I think it's 22 and a half off the top of my
It
head.
was 22 and a
Right,
half.
so I'm not going to say that he doesn't have 22 legitimate sacks.
Had a great year that
He had a
year.
great year, okay? But Michael Strahan, when I think, like you said, Reggie White, Bruce Smith.
That's as far as you have to go.
But, the Giants are going to retire Eli Manning's number in a few weeks as well.
And I kind of feel the same way about that, to be quite honest with you. I've been a big supporter of Eli.
I do. I can understand the Eli more just because of the quarterback position, 2 Super Bowl. I mean,
Then go to the Ring of Honor,
I
which
understand.
is fine.
I understand that. But for our audience out there, if you disagree on Michael Strahan and think that this guy was a premier, dominant, defensive wrecking ball,
Like Ron Jaworski felt about Lawrence Taylor playing him twice a year.
I don't agree at all.
That's my point. Ring of Honor, no problem with.
And a disclaimer, too. I don't particularly like Michael Strahan. I don't like his personality. I don't like his demeanor. I don't like him, period, to be honest with you.
We're strictly talking
Exactly.
on the field.
I'm being objective here about on-field performance.
Yep.
Nice career. And again, when we talk Hall of Fame, we talk Dan Hampton and
Howie Long.
and that type of thing.
Anyway,
Michael Strahan.
like I said, because, retiring a number like 24 for the Giants in baseball, that's Willie Mays. That deserves to be retired. Right. Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jackie Robinson.
I'm laughing at myself because I have two of my best friends are diehard Raider fans, Anthony Dellarine and Ted Giordana, and they are so diametrically opposed on the Howie Long
I know they
side
are.
of the fence.
I got their spiel at a Rutgers game. Yeah. I did. But here for our Raider fans, Anthony, by the way, I noticed this and I didn't really take notice of it until the next day, but Cliff Branch is not in the Hall of Fame, and he belongs in the Hall of Fame if they're letting some of these other guys in.
Cliff passed away, about a year ago now?
At least,
within the year, I think. Cliff Branch, if you look at his numbers. Now, I'm a huge Drew Pearson fan.
But if he's in, Cliff Branch
you better
has
believe
to be
it. You better believe it. Right. So I got to think, because Drew Pearson waited so long in the senior committee type of thing, I think Cliff Branch posthumously will be inducted at some point.
I agree.
He deserves to be.
I just saw that as you guys missed this one,
Yeah.
If Lynn Swann is in, right, and they're in the same era.
You look at Cliff Branch's numbers, they're absolutely worth it.
And I think he was one of the only a couple of guys that actually won 3 of those rings, Super Bowl rings with the Raiders. I mean, they changed, like a revolving door.
He played a long time, number 21, man.
He did. He was a good player.
Very good.
I just want to say our NFL segment is sponsored by Coriano Trucking from Summerhill, New York. And again, loyalty just goes a long way, and we thank him week after week for his support of our show.
Yes. Thank you, Guy.
Let's stay with the NFL, because here's something, and I know you and I don't see eye to eye on this this sports book thing with football and basketball. It's become something. I saw this. The Arizona Cardinals are going to have a sports book in the stadium in 2022.
Okay.
Is this not getting out of control? Is DraftKings and these guys not running this league anymore?
I think it's fine.
Oh, my goodness.
Listen.
In the stadium?
Sports gambling.
You can have 3 beers in the first quarter and then blow your mortgage at halftime.
That's your choice.
But it's a choice.
It's
people
legal
don't
in
have
New
control
Jersey.
over.
It's been legal in Las Vegas. It's going to be legal. And Jim, I don't know if you've looked at the numbers since New Jersey legalized sports betting.
The revenue, I get it.
The revenue has revitalized Atlantic City, number 1.
Right, but how many gamblers are losing their houses because it's so easy to bet again?
Billions and billions of revenue is coming into the state. I don't have an issue with it. I really don't.
I think.
What's the difference if you go into Saratoga and walking up to your window and putting $5 on a trifecta?
Because you do it once a year and you're not.
No, there's people that don't do that once a year, Jim.
Okay.
They're brown bagging it and ripping their tickets every day.
Is different than whether or not the Raiders are going to cover and a guy kicks the field goal and misses it because Al Capone got to him before the game. I mean, come on.
Hey, so you always ask the question, where's the money coming from? Well, here's another source of money.
I get it's generating.
You think the Cardinals are not getting a big chunk of this?
But the
allowing this in their stadium?
But this goes back to the Paul Hornung, Alex Karras getting suspended and the P. Rose. You don't bet on games. And just because it's legal, that opens up the door for players.
That hasn't changed. If a player bets, they're screwed.
All right.
Okay.
But the ability to bet on a game that you're participating in is so easy now that I just find it could possibly taint.
It's no different than a Sunday going to your local barber shop and seeing Vinny the Chin and giving Vinny $50. Come on.
Or Ace in Casino.
Totally. I was just going to say, Casino.
How did you know Oklahoma was going to cover?
Remo.
Hey, that's why you paid so good.
Right.
I got it.
He knew if the quarterback was on coke.
I just never thought I would see this, next to a beer stand and a hot dog stand, you could also bet the game while it's in progress.
Yes.
Anyway. How's your quarterback doing in Dallas? Is reason to be concerned?
Well, I watched Hard Knocks, so I'm not concerned. He had a lateral strain in his shoulder. They shut him down for a week or two. He'll be fine.
He's going to be fine.
His ankle's fine. I don't have any worries other than
Who's the backup
if
in
he
Dallas,
gets hurt.
you know?
Well, it's going to be Gail Gilbert, and obviously Ben is still on the
Gail
roster.
Gilbert's got to be in this league for 15 years.
No, not that long.
Huh?
He's about 30. Gail Gilbert, if I remember correctly, Gail Gilbert was at Cal, and then I think he transferred to SMU when SMU got revitalized. And
Wasn't he old backup for Seattle years ago?
No, I think he was in Buffalo actually as a backup. But no, it's not good, the backup situation in Dallas. I don't have Andy Dalton.
How's Hard Knocks? Because I haven't watched 1 second of it.
I'll say this as a Cowboy fan. I've liked what I've seen from Mike McCarthy. He's got command of the team.
He's not exactly doing any Slim Fast commercials.
But he's organized. I like his demeanor. Dan Quinn has been featured on the defensive
we know he's a
side.
quality coach.
I understand. I'm just saying, behind the scenes. I couldn't have been more concerned last year with the look of McCarthy and the way the team performed.
But if they start out at 3-5, he's going to be fired and not make the year.
I don't think so.
This is Jerry Jones.
It's going to be 17 games. I think McCarthy is the right guy. So I liked what I've seen thus far. I'll say this, Jerry Jones is looking every bit of turning 80. He slowed down. You hear his voice.
He did. It hit the wall.
It's a matter of, I would say, 2 years at most that Stephen Jones will take over, which I think is a good thing.
He's basically running it now.
Yeah, he is.
I saw Jerry Jones, too. I thought the same thing,
Yeah, Micah Parsons looks really good. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, we like that pick.
Yeah, if the offensive line stays healthy, my other observation is Elliott did come into camp in shape, so let's see if that translates to him being the productive back that he should be.
Yeah, and like I said, it's preseason. We're not crazy about it. We don't watch it. Just get the season underway.
That's it. Don't get hurt.
I wanted to bring this up before we close out on the NFL. That Peyton Manning, his speech at the Hall of Fame was pretty good. He's articulate. He's got it going.
He is spot on.
Yeah,
he really is.
Yep.
And he's
funny. He's articulate. And he was
he's
great.
The whole package.
He is.
He really is. And the resume that he brings to the table, he's very cerebral. The one thing I heard about, I forget what commentator made it, but what really resonated with me is what a historian he is, like we are of the game, right? That type of thing.
Yep.
So the guy's comment was, because he's so appreciative of that yellow jacket that he now is a member of the Hall of Fame, he said that he bets Peyton Manning could reel off all 320 names in the Hall of Fame.
I bet he can.
Totally.
I saw a thing.
I said to myself, I bet he could too. And I thought that was pretty cool. Because I really think he could.
Oh,
I would love to sit down with Peyton Manning, sports with mano a mano, and we would have a very intelligent conversation about
exactly.
football.
We wouldn't fawn over a guy because he's Peyton Manning, but we could connect with him, and he's just like us.
He's got the sense of humor and everything.
But good call on the historian. I'll bet you 50 cents you're right that he could name every single member that has a yellow jacket.
And then, like even when he did like Saturday Night Live and stuff, there was like, like a skit where he's quarterbacking the little kids and stuff. The kid drops him,
Good marketing.
Oh, God. He's got it all. He's the whole package, man. He really is.
But I wanted to acknowledge that because he was the marquee guy. There were a lot of guys that went in, and you can't sit through too many speeches.
My boy Roger is slowing down too. I mean, Jerry Jones I mentioned, but that was another observation. Roger is
how old is Roger?
Roger's every bit of 80 now,
yeah.
And he looks it, and he's slowing down, but he's still Roger the Dodger, and anytime I get to see him.
And when we think
he's
about
my
quarterbacks, he's our guy.
He's my guy.
I know he is, and you got the throwback jersey, but you could be a Giant fan or whatever, but if you don't appreciate the greatness of Roger Staubach, then you're missing the
My
boat,
sister got me actually my ex-wife got me a signed football from Roger Staubach.
Yep.
And my number was number 12 based on Roger. I was always number 12. So my football is signed to Steve from one number 12 to another number 12. Best wishes, Roger Staubach.
Boy, who's going to get that when you pass?
What
you know?
a priceless
Yep.
possession.
And just so you know, I had a guy that I used to work with who was very close to Roger Staubach, and he said he is every bit the gentleman off the field.
He's a Navy man.
As a competitor, he was on the field.
You better believe it. Right.
It was awesome.
And a billionaire times 7.
Well, that's why the conversation
Commercial real
came
estate.
up. Commercial real estate. Very, very successful.
Oh, very
you know?
successful.
But listen, so, the preseason, enjoy it. I just can't wait till it starts. And before we move off football.
Well, Mac Jones had his little debut.
He did. He looked good.
He looked okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like he found the weight room, too, actually.
He had no choice.
But the Patriots fans embraced him. They know he's the future.
Oh, he's the
and,
future. No doubt.
But yeah, I saw that too. He looked pretty good, actually. Where was I going to go? Yeah, I just lost my train of thought. But
That's it, pretty much. It's
NFL?
preseason.
Yep.
Jets, Giants tonight. No Daniel Jones. Zach Wilson will get two series. The early reports on Wilson is that he's struggling a bit in training camp.
well, he looks like he's 15 years
He
old.
does. No, there's no question. With the headband, too, especially.
Yeah. He's
looks
trying to look older.
Yeah, he looks like
mature.
a summer camp counselor.
But listen, I'll go on the record as saying I'm liking what the Jets are doing. I like the
I am
coach and
too.
I like Wilson, and I think they're on the right track.
I am too.
Much to my dismay, but
I like. You know what? I'm a closet Jet fan. I really always have been.
But
since Joe Namath.
And we watch them week after week because they're a New York team,
Right.
and we want to know what's going on.
Right, but I'm a closet Jet fan.
And they're really liking this kid Elijah Moore, wide receiver.
Very much so.
They shored up their line, offensive line.
This kid Darius Mims, they drafted last year. He's like 7th or 8th on the depth chart now.
Yeah.
That's
These
how,
young kids came in, right? Yep.
yeah, and they got Corey Moore and
Corey Davis.
Corey Davis, excuse me, but Elijah Moore you mentioned. But they've upgraded the receiving core, and we shall see.
Yep, we shall see. So let's move on. How about Major League Baseball, Steve? Because the Field of Dreams game, that I got to say, I got caught up in the hype, and it lived up to the hype.
God.
It was a great
It
Major League Baseball.
exceeded the hype.
It did.
I thought it was really. I thought it was the best baseball experience. I can't even remember.
And the most watched Major League Baseball game in prime time in
about
15 years.
15, 16
14
years.
or something, right? Yeah.
I thought it was every bit as great as
It was advertised.
advertised.
Yep.
It really, as a Yankee fan, Andrew Heaney being on the mound was probably the one downside.
I got to give my older brother credit. He came up with a line. He said, Andrew Heaney's killed more corn than Kellogg's.
That's right.
Great line.
Great line. I mean, they threw the stat out there. He's given up 8 home runs in 13 innings.
Exactly.
And
And he had another great line. He said, let this guy Heaney go find the balls in the cornfield. That'll keep him busy for the rest of the year.
you better believe it.
Another great line.
Right. So then I was talking to Jim Walsh, one of our loyal listeners, and we were talking about it. Like, as many bad Yankee pitchers have come through. And I mean, the king for me is Ed Whitson. Eddie Lee Whitson.
Ken Clay could have been up there. Dale Murray.
I give you 1,000 names. I don't think any of them gave up 8 home runs in 13 innings.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, but the thing about Heaney is he's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's just this ridiculous stretch that he's doing. But these balls were flying out.
It was.
I thought it was cool for Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
He had a big night.
Yeah.
His shoes were
Very
pretty
cool.
cool.
Very cool.
The uniforms I thought were great. The way they
Absolutely.
the way they entered into the stadium through the cornfields. The Kevin Costner aspect, I knew that would be part of it. I'm a Kevin Costner fan.
Me too.
So that didn't bother me at all. And
I didn't know they were going to play up that Kevin Costner angle to that extent, like him walking out of the cornfields too.
Right.
And how about this? Here's a funny stat.
Is this not heaven type of thing?
Exactly.
Right? It's awesome.
But the last time the White Sox beat the Yankees on a walk-off home run was hit by shoeless Joe Jackson in 1919.
Is that right? Wow, I didn't see that.
Isn't that unbelievable?
That's pretty cool. So obviously, Major League Baseball saw this as a win-win, and you can bet the farm.
That won some fans back.
Oh, you can bet Major League Baseball will have this year after year.
Yep.
I would expect probably the Cubs or something next year.
Possibly.
Something like that. Cubs Reds or Cubs Cardinals. Something.
I think they're going to make it a White Sox is always going to be there, like the Cowboys play. I think
they'll probably make it like the outdoor hockey game. Like,
The White Sox angle works, though. It worked great. I don't see why they would change that.
Because I think every Major League Baseball team would want to experience this.
I guess you're right.
And with the ratings and so on and so forth, I think we'll be watching a game in Iowa for the next 15 years at least.
Oh, absolutely! 2 thumbs up on the whole production. It was great.
The scenery was just
the hickory wood scoreboard. It was perfect. I mean, they had enough time to plan this, right? Jim Walsh was going to go last year.
I made my own observation. You know how safety has taken its in Major League stadiums, and kids have been getting mauled by balls and stuff like that. And it was like a small venue.
Only 8,000 fans.
Right, but if you looked at the dugouts, these wooden dugouts, right, and the players are just hanging over it.
That's
right?
what we used to play like.
Absolutely, but my observation was, what if, a foul ball came ripping right there? But I'm just saying, right? It wasn't.
Hey, catchers didn't used to wear masks.
I know, but it wasn't going to happen. But I made that observation of because there's netting now around the lower tiers of Major League stadiums,
down the lines, all that kind of stuff.
Right, but I thought it was so cool that it was in that venue.
Yeah, it was great.
It was. It
really
was great.
And listen, a couple other things on Major League Baseball. You got to give a shout out to Corbin Burns, Milwaukee Brewers pitcher. Struck out 10 consecutive batters.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And it's only been done twice before. Actually, recently by Aaron Nola, the Phillies.
Yeah.
But since then, before that, Tom Seaver.
Tom terrific.
And
I would have got that one.
Right? We feel about Tom Seaver.
Oh, no question.
That's a great record,
That's.
10 straight Ks.
It's pretty
in a
good.
Major League game is awesome.
That is correct.
I watched a good game last night, the Mets, and we talked about it. Yankees are on a roll. Mets have been a little bit struggling. Word about DeGrom, he's going to be off for a couple more weeks at least. But Pete Alonso, I know he's your guy. I kind of like him too, but he had a walk-off the other night.
Yeah.
But they played the Dodgers, and the Dodgers got some really – they got a great team. They can't seem to catch the Giants, who just keep seem to win.
Don't matter right now.
But they got a lot of good talent.
They do.
Kid Taylor, and they got Trey Turner for nothing.
Yeah.
And,
No, they're loaded, man.
Pujols.
Mookie Betts has to get healthy. I think he has a little bit of an injury right now.
Yeah, they called it a bone spur in his
Fine,
hip.
he'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
That guy
He's
is
a player.
solid.
But
Their pitching's great. Urias and Walker Buehler. These guys.
Urias got hit by a pitch right on his calf. And then he could barely make it to first base. He stayed in the game. He's a stud.
Right.
And this other kid, was it Contranol or something? Throws the ball. He averages throwing at 100 miles an hour. So they're loaded. I don't see any way that the Dodgers, even if the Giants beat them for the division. I think the Dodgers are the team to beat.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy for them to make the World Series. That's for sure. The Giants and the Padres are formidable this year.
Yeah, it's good baseball.
Right.
So, Steve, let's move on. Our next segment is sponsored by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut. And again, when we talk about loyalty, they've been with us since the start, and we keep thanking them and hope they're having a great summer. And thank you very much, Lynch Toyota. NBA. You know where I'm going to start off with this is where is the money coming from again?
Yeah.
But, these Supermax contracts, right? They locked up, Luka Doncic, 5 years, $200 and something million.
Yeah.
Right? Kawhi Leonard staying with the Clippers.
I was never
Super
really,
max deal,
really-
40 plus
I was
million.
never really in doubt. He worked his way to L.A. I didn't see him leaving L.A.
Right, but who do we keep telling is the commissioner of the NBA? LeBron. How about Carmelo Anthony to the Lakers?
You know what?
Last gasp effort, I guess.
I really could care less.
But you got
Good. You want to play a year for the Lakers? Good. LeBron wants you. Good luck.
Right.
I mean, obviously the Westbrook trade makes them relevant again. If that big three stays healthy,
But that's the reason the
you
trade.
got the big three in Brooklyn.
It's the big three
Of
versus
course.
the big three.
I understand.
So,
I understand.
but there was something that we talk about all.
But
these-
again, the Milwaukee Bucks are no joke either.
No,
They're the
you
defending
can't.
champs now.
Right. Everybody seems to think they, got lucky that the Nets went down, the injuries and so forth. But here was we're talking about guys that get money. How about a guy that didn't get money and, his agent should be fired? This Dennis Schroeder turned down 4 years, like $80 million from the Lakers.
Yeah.
And all he could muster up was a 1-year deal with the Celtics for what, $5 million?
Hey,
Pretty funny.
too bad.
Right, but I'm just saying,
I could care less.
I've at least heard of this guy. There's other guys I haven't heard of
Yeah.
that got twice as much money as him. So that's kind of funny. I don't know who that agent is, but
That's a win for us. It's a win for the good guys.
the agent wasn't Lee Steinberg. I can
no.
tell you that for sure.
No, it wasn't Tom Rich who passed away a month ago.
Exactly.
One of our favorites.
Which we did mention.
Right.
But that was funny. I go, you left that money on the table, and this is all you could muster, right?
Yeah, I would think Dennis is going to get some barbs in the Celtics locker room.
Right. Well, in the meantime, the Ben Simmons, soap opera continues.
He's not going anywhere.
He's absolutely going somewhere.
No.
But they're not getting
They're not
what
trading.
they think.
They're not going to trade.
He will not be in the 76ers uniform.
Yes, he
I'm
will.
telling
It's
you
all
that.
been blown over.
No, it's not.
As bad as he was, and listen, I was.
His bags are packed. It's just a matter of where he's
no,
going.
I don't think so. No, he's coming back.
But if they think they're
Doc
getting two
Rivers,
number one
Doc
draft
Rivers
picks for
wants
him,
him back.
no, he does
Yes,
not.
he does. He's not going anywhere.
Doc Rivers holds him accountable for
I'm telling you, Ben Simmons is not going anywhere this year.
Well-
If Ben Simmons has a playoff like he had this past year, pack your bags. I think he's getting another chance. This guy's not a terrible basketball player.
He will not be in his.
He had a
76ers
terrible
uniform.
stretch, I could tell you that. No.
He should be practicing foul shots as we speak.
Ben Simmons is not getting traded. I'm going on record with this
I'm
one.
going on record the other way. He will
And
not
I'm
be
talking
in the-
about this year.
Yep.
I'm not saying he's never getting traded from Philly.
No, he will not.
He
be.
will play the 21-22 season
Anyway.
for the Philadelphia 76ers.
So listen, let's move on real quick. Rangers locked up Igor
Shesterkin.
Right move?
Yeah,
I thought
absolutely.
Georgiev was going to be the guy.
Nah,
you know?
Shesterkin is the clear guy, number one.
Locked him up for a while.
Yeah, they had to.
And the hockey guys are getting their money now.
Listen, the Rangers budgeted for this. It's also kind of why Buchnevich had to go because they weren't going to pay him. They had these restricted free agents. Shesterkin's one of them. They locked them up.
Yep.
They had to. Georgiev is still trade bait. Georgiev could be part of the Eichel deal.
I was just going to ask about that.
Yeah.
Is that still looming? Huh?
It's stalled. I think the longer it goes, the better it is for the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Eichel wants out. It's very tenuous there in Buffalo. There's no trust there. It's going to happen. I think the Rangers have the package that Buffalo would find attractive.
Got to be Georgiev and somebody else.
Georgiev is a part of it. Kravtsov is going to be a part of it. There'll probably be a one or two number ones associated with it. It's going to be a haul, but it's not going to be back-breaking haul.
Right.
Okay? I'm a Eichel guy. If he gets a clean bill of health with his neck, kid's 27 probably now. BU guy.
Well, that's what you got to worry about. Is he healthy, or is it a concern the Sabres rightfully had? Right.
But the Rangers and Drury and they'll do their due diligence. But We shall see.
Yep.
We shall see.
All right.
But Georgiev, to your point, Shesterkin's the number one guy right now.
I thought it was the other way, but now I could see it's going in that direction.
No,
right?
again, I equate it to the Lundqvist Cam Talbot thing. Cam Talbot was a great backup, filled in admirably, got a shot with Edmonton.
So what? That leaves Kincaid as the backup then, if
or
Georgiev gets dealt.
I mean, there could be another Russian in the farm system for all we know.
Wouldn't be a surprise.
Ukraine not weak.
He signed for vodka.
Yeah. See.
Anyway, so let's move on to our mono points of interest.
Points
little
of
segment.
interest.
Saw this, the Omar Vizquel incident. How about this, right?
Oof.
I mean, we saw this and go, wow, that's... Am I reading this right? You know?
Huh.
But listen, they're weeding these guys out, so if this is happening, it's happening. But he was a great shortstop.
He was. He was.
I mean, he could eat it up like nobody's business.
He might be the second best defensive shortstop outside of Ozzie Smith.
Whew. Bold statement.
No, I don't think it's bold. He's up there in discussion. I'm talking defensively.
That's exactly only what I'm talking about. But went on to a managerial career and so forth, and now this comes out.
He was a compiler too. You know, you always talk about compilers. I just mean he played a long time. I think he played at least 18 years, if not.
But he was, from a glove perspective, phenomenal.
Sure was.
I'm not sure his batting average couldn't be more than 278.
It was bad. It was higher than Ozzie Smith, I could tell you
But
that.
it's disturbing, and if it's true, then,
Listen,
out you go.
We're not...
he can meet Trevor Bauer at the train station.
I'm not surprised anymore by allegations that come out, and I'm just not.
Right.
Speaking of Trevor Bauer, he faces the music for the first time, so to speak.
They've been talking about this for 5 weeks.
No, but he's going to court this week for an appearance at least. So the legal
to deny the allegation.
Well, whatever. Right. The point is, he's going to walk into a courthouse.
He's done from a Major League Baseball perspective.
Oh, he is.
We talked about it a month ago that if it was true, he's done. I think he's done.
I don't know yet if it's true. I'm leaning towards it is, but again, innocent until proven guilty.
Agreed. We support that theory.
We have to follow the tenet of the legal system.
But from what's been leaked, there's enough popcorn.
Don't get me wrong.
If
I'm on that jury, there would have to be some compelling evidence for me to sway otherwise.
Me too. Here's a point of interest, we could say it, because Manny Pacquiao is fighting again.
Yeah.
And listen, this guy was a beast. I mean, we loved him. But he's 42 years old. He's a senator.
I got skin with Manny. One of my best friends, Rob Peters, from Boston University, has been Manny Pacquiao's bodyguard.
That's good trivia right there.
For the last 20 plus years.
And he's still capable of fighting a 28-year-old guy in the ring?
Yeah.
I doubt that.
I went out to Vegas. I didn't get to meet Manny, but Rob, where Pacquiao trained in Los Angeles. Freddie Roach was his trainer for a long time.
Trainer for everybody.
So, yeah, but I went out for the Pacquiao De La Hoya fight, 2009. It's been a long time now. But Rob, is... I have all the inside scoop, but Manny Pacquiao is still at 42.
And that's going to happen in a couple of weeks, I think. Something like that, right?
He was supposed to fight Earl Spence, and Earl Spence got...
right, so he's fighting some guy, Ugar, or some other guy.
He's going to destroy him.
Pacquiao's going to destroy this guy?
Yes.
No, I'm telling you, no. He's going down and why did you have to make this fight? You're 42 years old.
Would you like to go fly to the Arizona Cardinals Stadium and we'll walk up to the venue there and throw a couple dollars down?
Let's go at halftime, and get 4 beers on the way back.
Fine.
I'm saying Pacquiao loses this fight.
Not at all.
On the
All
record.
right, on the record.
8:14:21.
I got 11:15 in the morning.
We'll see. I just thought
Pacquiao wins.
I'm tired of seeing these recycled fighters at this age fight. I mean, it's
The only
ridiculous.
reason I'm saying is because I have inside.
Yep.
Pacquiao's been my guy.
And then I support him. I'm not rooting against him. I'm
I
just saying he's
understand.
not going to beat a guy who's
I'm trying
28
to
years
tell
old.
you that he is going to beat the guy.
We'll see. Another cool thing, I said that because you and I talked about these guys when the NBA draft, the Summer League. You know, it's actually pretty big, actually. People watch
Oh,
it.
it's been big for
But
5 years now.
the reason I brought it up is I was watching Jalen Suggs, who you've been touting since, before the
I
championship
did a
game last
monologue
year.
on him.
He is going to be a major league stud
Yes, he is.
in the NBA.
Yeah, he's with the Orlando Magic.
And they got him like 6. He should have been the second pick in the
I
draft
think
at
so too.
least. And,
I think so too.
But I gotta give you kudos because I watched him. I go, this kid is the real deal.
He certainly is. I'm not wavering on my Jalen Suggs, and he's a good kid too.
Yeah.
He's a really good kid. So.
Well, a lot of them start out that way. in
no,
the
but
NBA, you know.
this is a type of guy that I root for. So.
We'll see. But
Am I becoming an Orlando Magic fan? I
Not
don't
hardly.
think so.
Right, but again, this whole thing, and it's probably the brainchild 30 years ago of David Stern, but Adam Silver, he can make money for this league. This NBA Summer League has turned into, they probably had more fans than the regular season, to see these young kids. Pretty good. And what started, Steve? It's the summer, late summer, Little League World Series underway.
Tom's
Williamsport.
River. I think they lost last night.
I didn't see who won or lost last night, but
They lost the other day.
and they won this back in
They were losing 2-0 to Delaware when I turned it off.
what year did Tom's River win it? Wasn't that Todd Frazier's
Todd
team? or
Frazier.
something?
I want to say that was
95.
98-ish, something like that.
But it's actually pretty good. I kind of wait till they they battle it out and get down to the Sweet 16.
It was actually funny because the guy I work with, and I reference Frank a lot, the guy I work with, he lives in Tom's River. His son is 3, and he said Todd Frazier, he finds out his son is 3. Tom's River North, so Frank is already making plans, Frazier's the manager, I'm the assistant coach, right? But Tom's River North's no joke.
Love the Little League World Series.
Love
though.
it. Loving every
Watching it
minute.
forever. Here, another fact, and Steve and I talked about this not too long ago. The contract, Chris Davis finally retired.
Yes,
right?
that was a notable I was going to bring up.
After
I
a
couldn't-
7-year, $140+ million
I couldn't be
contract.
happier about that news.
But we saw it, and I looked up at his number. He had 2 monster years.
Yeah.
One year he hit 53 home runs.
Yep.
And he gets that huge contract, and he couldn't hit a beach ball after that. We're not knocking the guy personally, just saying you got a great agent, and you should send him a case of,
Oh, he is not.
whatever.
Yeah, he's not losing any sleep about the kind of dough that he got.
Yeah. After his 53 home runs, 138 RBI year in
Right.
2013, he gets this deal, and he never hit anything after.
I got to tell you what, I think Tom's River won last. Tom's River did. They came back and won.
All right.
So they are back in play. They play Upper Providence, Pennsylvania tonight at 6 p.m. They were down 2-0. So, and I knew they were making noise. So I'm very happy that they.
How's Trumbull, Connecticut doing?
They
were
came
former
back.
champs,
They came back and won 6-3. They beat Canal, Delaware.
Yep.
So listen, I think they're 1 win away. Now the Little League World Series this year. I don't know if you know, it's not a world event because of COVID. It's just
so we don't have to see Japan.
It's
all
not.
this,
It's strictly United States this year.
Oh, I did not know that. Actually.
Correct. So Tom's River is.
This will be a true Little League national championship.
Yeah,
right?
so they're the MidAtlantic Regional. So
They're going to run into some teams.
They're in the final tonight.
Right.
So they're in the MidAtlantic Regional final. Sioux Falls, South Dakota is playing Hastings, Nebraska right now. You got Manchester, Connecticut playing in another bracket. You got California and Hawaii. You got Ohio. You got a Michigan team. And Oregon and Washington.
Pretty much the standard bearers of Little League World Series play.
I actually watched East Lake, Washington earlier in the week. They're pretty good.
Do they have a sports book betting window at the Little League World Series in Williamsport?
If they don't, it's probably a good moneymaker for them to do that.
That's a bid. I'm just working on a bid here.
Yeah, right.
You see where we're going.
I understand.
Anyway, so let's...
Give me a deuce on Tom's River.
But Frank, that's the kids' college fund. You know? They can't lose.
Shut up. Give me a beer.
Get dinner on the table. Let me worry about the
Go back to the
finances.
Winnebago and get the grill going.
Anyway, so let's move on to our notable passing segments. And I think it's only befitting that we lead off with a big name in college football, Bobby Bowden, 91. Happened right after the show last week. We would have brought it up.
Yeah, you know what? When Bobby Bowden was coaching Florida State, I didn't like him. I didn't like him because I didn't like Florida State, but I didn't appreciate Bobby Bowden's career at the time because it just wasn't. It wasn't a time for me to reflect.
And I don't think he did everything legitimately, you know.
Listen.
But as a prominent sports figure in the coaching carousel of
there isn't a person out there that can say one bad thing about Bobby Bowden.
That's what I heard.
Right?
Actually.
He's 90. He was 91 years old.
He was.
He went to Alabama, I think, to play football, and I think he wanted. Well, his wife he married. They wanted to get married as freshmen. You couldn't get married as freshmen or something like that. Then he wound up at West Virginia or something. He coached at West Virginia.
Very successful.
Very successful. Married Ann Bowden, I think her name is. Then took the Florida State gig. I want to say in like 1976, something like that. And I tell you what, you know, as we got older, what did we know? Miami, Florida State, every year. You know, they were players, and they were number one or number two, the Miami games. We used to make fun of Bobby Bowden.
But what's the greatest clip? Was Bowden on the sideline after the field goals going up? He thought it was good. He won the national championship.
No, it was the
Miami.
Miami.
He looked at the guy.
It wasn't the national.
What? It's no good.
Right. It was the Miami Florida State game, which was going down to the final second for like 3 years in a row. Yeah. But Bobby Bowden, I heard he passed.
He knew how to win.
And the thing, too, is one of the reporters was speaking about him, said, you know, when you would call Bobby Bowden, you knew everything about Bobby Bowden. He was a very genuine man, and the conversation would always turn to who he was talking to. And I kind of like that. Yeah. R.I.P. Bobby Bowden. Definitely. Definitely an icon in college football.
Yep.
And you know what? A really, all reports say, a very...
And you can't deny his record.
Very nice man and family man. And his sons, obviously, we know from coaching.
You and I kind of held a grudge because we didn't like Florida State.
Oh, yeah.
But the teams he coached...
Rooted against them. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely. Always rooted against Florida State. Always.
We were pulling for the wide right.
Oh, my God.
Even though it meant, Miami winning, right?
You kidding me?
So
you don't know how much we rooted against Dion at Florida State.
Yeah, as good as they were,
As good as they were. But a lot of great players he coached.
How about this? TonyEsposito, right?
Yeah,
Tony O.
That's another big one.
78 years old. What a stellar career.
Yes.
Awesome player. Just never got a chance to win the Stanley Cup. Had 2 tries and didn't win it.
Yeah. Younger brother of Phil.
Yeah.
By a year. I think they're only like a year apart or so. But TonyEsposito, you kind of, we lost sight of TonyEsposito because it's been so long.
Yeah.
But what an icon in Chicago. His stats are great.
Absolutely.
Absolutely great.
No question about it.
Original Montreal Canadian, and he got exposed, because obviously the Canadians are loaded. Chicago takes him, gets him to the Stanley Cup final twice. Yep. Who do they lose to?
Montreal.
The loaded Montreal Canadiens.
Yep.
But Tony Esposito, Vezina Trophy winner.
He was good.
His career was just rock solid.
I looked at his stats, and they were just, this is Hall of Fame stuff
totally.
in the NHL.
There should be Tony Esposito donuts along with Stan Mikita donuts.
Good Wayne's World reference. I'm sure Stan Mikita played with Tony Esposito. No,
you better believe it. Right? No question. It was Bobby Hull, Stan Mikita, Tony Esposito.
Yeah.
When you think of the Blackhawks in the early '70s, those are
There's
the
one
guys.
guy we're missing though. It's driving me nuts now.
Well, for back then,
yeah.
There's plenty of role guys, but they were the big three.
Right.
They were the big three.
But hey, R.I.P. Tony Esposito, 78 years old.
Yes, very much so.
Sticking with the world of sports, Craig Ogletree, a guy that you and I used to say, this guy's a player, didn't have much of a career in the NFL, but at Auburn, won 3 SEC titles with them, and he was a beast, only 53 years old.
Right. Well, remember when we brought up Kumar Rocker a month ago or so, and I said, who's his father? And you're like, Tracy Rocker.
Caught me off guard.
That was the era. Craig Ogletree, Tracy Rocker.
Yep.
Not that Tracy Rocker passed away. I'm just saying Craig Ogletree was a hell of a football player at Auburn.
You bet.
Cup of coffee in the NFL.
Played 1 year with the Bengals, I think.
Nah, a little bit longer, but...
No, actually, I think it was 1 year.
Okay, but so a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But Craig Ogletree was an impactful Auburn football player.
Excellent college player and one of the toughest conferences back then.
I think he was a reverend too, or something. Like he was a very religious guy and a well respected guy too.
Yeah, no, I think either him or his father. He did some wedding for somebody, which was prominent. You're right, though. Great player at Auburn. 3 SEC titles, not easy to do.
Yep. And I think his coach was Pat Dye, who. Yeah. Gee, when I think of Pat Dye, I don't think of infractions. Mm-hmm. I don't think of Eddie Sutton in basketball.
Hey, listen, if we want to peel the onion back, we'll find some names down there we don't want to mention.
We could do a week show on the biggest miscreants.
Right, but from a sports perspective, Steve, Cameron Burrell, young guy, 26 years old. He was a sprinter at University of Houston, like his father.
Yeah.
Big name. It's actually Carl Lewis's godson. Died 26 years old, unexpectedly.
No,
But he was the 100-meter champ at the University of Houston, and that's where his father went and was actually the track coach.
Yeah, that's 26 is way
too young.
Yeah,
we got it. But he was fast. I mean, he was,
no question.
Excellent athlete. One other thing from the world of sports was Bob Jenkins. A lot of fans say, well, but the Monahans, we talk about auto racing in the Indianapolis 500. He was the voice of the Indianapolis 500 for a lot of years. Worked with Ned Jarrett and Benny Parsons. And he was always humble, saying, this is always what I wanted to do. Sure. I feel so lucky. And
sure.
He was a good guy, nice and very prominent at the old Brickyard.
Oh yeah, say. Yeah.
74 years old.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about Bobby Unser. What? Yep. Not even a
couple months ago.
Couple months ago, max. So Bob Jenkins. I mean, when we heard Bobby Unser's name, who was it coming from? Bob Jenkins.
And I'm not even sure, if
Gordon John Cook.
Right. He won twice.
I understand, but like those names, right? It was like Johnny Rutherford,
and
AJ Foyt.
Bob Jenkins called the Gordon John Cock Indy 500 wins. He actually did.
Yeah.
Not sure if he called the last one when we picked Helio Castroneves, who's going into the auto racing.
He may have.
Anyway, but shout out to him. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Two from the world of entertainment before we wrap up, because we got to go. Marky Post, 70, Night Court.
I've been wearing black for the last 3 days.
Yeah, she was pretty funny, and she was easy on the eyes.
Marky Post was one of my all-time faves growing up.
Yeah, she was funny.
I thought she was smoking hot.
I can't say I ever saw her in The Fall Guy because I never watched The Fall Guy,
I can say I did, and I was sad to hear about Marky Post.
Yeah.
She had a long battle with cancer.
She did. 70 years old.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I was a big fan of her.
And one last thing, kind of an oddball thing. Jane Withers. And Steve and I remember this because she was a child star actress, played with Shirley Temple in movies, and became probably most famous, Josephine the Plumber.
Oh, totally.
Which, if you see a clip on YouTube now, you go, this was filmed in somebody's garage. It was that lame. Jane the Plumber.
Well,
Josephine the Plumber, I'm sorry.
Josephine.
But she passed away. I think she was 90 or something. But that was, she had a great career.
She was like Julia Child, except in the plumbing world.
I prefer Dan Aykroyd doing Julia Child.
Of course. Are you kidding?
But anyway, so R.I.P. Josephine the Plumber.
Yeah.
From a nostalgia perspective.
Yeah, it was a busy week, unfortunately, with RIPs.
It was. Hopefully it'll be lighter next week, but we'll be back here with you next week. And we thank you for joining us.
Any questions, comments, sportswithmono@gmail.com.
Yep.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody, and it was great to have a show today. And
thanks for joining us. We had a lot to cover, and it'll be just as much next week.
You bet.
Join us. See you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.